please consider subscribing to the Proctor Mindset channel and enabling notifications to get exclusive content and join our community. Your support is greatly appreciated and allows us to continue creating valuable content for you. We sincerely wish you good health and well-being. Overthinking is a much more common reality than we might think. We constantly ruminate over our worries, lament the state of the economy, and get lost in daydreams. But this very mental activity, this relentless, infernal mechanism, traps us in our own patterns. It condemns us to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. Changing your thoughts is changing your life. Full stop. I climbed that very mountain myself. I went from being overwhelmed by debt to living a prosperous life by using the only truly unlimited resource I had, my own mind. Do you see those people who spend their lives complaining about the government, their neighbors, or the weather, year after year? It's the same old story, the same old complaints, and the same old misery. Have you ever truly analyzed your own results? Not just a superficial observation. Take a piece of paper, a pencil, and write down your best annual income. That number says more about your mindset than any diploma hanging on the wall. The truth I learned the hard way is that our results are a faithful reflection of our mental programming, far beyond our conscious thoughts. You can declare loud and clear that you want wealth, financial freedom, or a radical change. But if deep down, in the depths of your subconscious, you still believe that money is scarce, dirty, or hard to get, and that the rich are greedy, then money will elude you. And if it does come your way, it will slip through your fingers like sand. The most disheartening part is that we didn't choose this programming. It was ingrained in us from childhood. It came through damaging phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, once poor, always poor, you have to work hard to succeed, and a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Worst of all, we never dared to question these dogmas. We just absorbed them, recorded them, and lived with them as if they were unquestionable truths. The day I realized this, it was a cold shower. I was earning £4,000 a year and owed £6,000. My friends and colleagues were all in the same boat. We were just surviving, vegetating. And the cruelest part was that we considered it normal. It was our environment, our lot. Only absolute necessity pushed me to take the bull by the horns. To change my life, I had to change my mind and my surroundings. Believe me, it was painful. Sometimes it meant letting go of people I loved. But if they don't share your vision, they will drag you down. Not out of malice, but because they lack vision. Have you ever tried to plant a seed on concrete? Your mind is a fertile ground. But what are you planting if everything around you, your conversations, the media you consume, only speaks of failure, crisis, scarcity, and difficulties? You are cultivating that very negativity within yourself, day after day. You don't harvest wealth by sowing fear. Your thoughts keep you in poverty, not by choice, but by ignorance. You were never taught to think like a rich person, or to see yourself as prosperous. Most people think, feel, and act the same way while expecting different results. That is madness. Do you honestly believe you deserve £10,000, £20,000, or £100,000 a month? If deep down you don't believe it, life will prove you right. Your mind is a magnet, it attracts what you believe. For the next 3 days, I propose a little exercise. Do not make any negative comments about money, not even as a joke. Don't criticize the rich. Don't complain about prices. Just observe. Note every time you feel the urge to formulate a negative thought. You will be surprised at how often you sabotage your own success without even realizing it. This seemingly simple exercise is powerful. It reveals the extent of your self-sabotage, and awareness is the first step towards transformation. The day you understand that your thoughts dictate your emotions, your actions, and your reality, you will no longer tolerate limiting thoughts. The thing that saved me was the awareness that I could choose my thoughts. I had no diploma and no money, but I had my mind, my tool. And by training it correctly, it led me where I wanted to go. It can lead you there, too. You might wonder why you repeat the same mistakes, even when you know the solution. You set goals, to save, to change careers, to invest in yourself. But you always end up at the same point. It's not a lack of willpower or laziness. It's something much deeper, almost invisible, your paradigm. These are the beliefs and mental patterns that control your behavior without you even being aware of them. They reside in your subconscious, acting like an autopilot. You think you're in control, but you're not. Your paradigm dictates your relationship with money, how you view opportunities, and your self-image. The craziest part is that you may not even know it exists. When I was young, everything seemed to go wrong. I read, I studied, I planned. But it was all in vain. I blamed the world, the system, and fate. But the real problem was the software running in my head. A software whose existence I was unaware of, but which defined every step I took until someone told me, if you don't change your paradigm, nothing will change. I then understood that we are conditioned from childhood by our environment, our education, and the media. Everything that enters our fragile minds gets implanted, anchored, and begins to command us. You can read tons of books, take expensive courses, and watch thousands of videos, but if you don't change your paradigm, you will continue to self-sabotage. You might progress a little, but then everything will fall apart again. This isn't just theory, it's my life. I was earning millions and then losing everything. It was a vicious cycle. My results were a roller coaster until I understood that my paradigm was programmed for instability. I had been taught that earning money was difficult, that you shouldn't trust opportunities that were too good to be true, and that what goes up must come down. Even when I was doing well financially, my mind found a way to sabotage me. It's like swimming with an anchor tied to your foot. You can be strong, talented, and motivated, but you'll still sink. How many times have you abandoned a promising project? How many times have you promised to save money only to spend it all? This isn't bad luck, it's a program, a paradigm. And until it's changed, the film of your life will stay the same. Science confirms it, over 90% of our daily actions are automatic, governed by the subconscious. And the subconscious faithfully obeys your paradigm. That's why so many people are frustrated. They know a lot but do very little. The knowledge is there, but the behavior doesn't follow. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between reality and imagination. It believes everything you repeat with emotional intensity. If you spend your days saying that life is difficult and there are no solutions, the subconscious carves that into stone. Even if you rationally want something else, your body, your decisions, and your habits will all be guided by that belief. I completely changed my routine. I started repeating positive affirmations with conviction. I imagined the life I wanted to live. At first, it felt ridiculous, but over time, I felt an internal shift. It was like my system was being reconfigured. Fear gave way to confidence. Doubt transformed into vision. And the results followed. If you want to change your life, change your paradigm. What you need is not motivation, but reprogramming. Rewrite the code that commands your mind. It begins with awareness, with a choice. Step out of autopilot and think for yourself. I see people with immense potential trapped in modest lives. Brilliant minds self-sabotaging themselves with limiting beliefs. They are not responsible for the beliefs they received, but they are responsible for changing them. Now that you know, you can no longer hide behind ignorance. It's you against your own program, and only one victor can emerge. To prosper, observe your recurring thoughts, your habits, your excuses, and your reactions. Everything reveals your paradigm. The good news is that it can be changed. I am living proof. You don't have to accept the life you have. You can choose a new one, but that won't happen on the outside until you decide to change what's on the inside. Why do your finances resemble a roller coaster? I know what I'm talking about. The problem isn't the amount you earn, but your perception of your results. Most people are caught in a vicious cycle. They react to what they already have. If their bank account is low, they think small. If they struggle to make ends meet, they feel defeated and act accordingly. The result is more scarcity and more negative outcomes. It's a self-sabotaging vicious circle. The gravest error is letting your results control your thoughts. It's not what you have that should dictate your thoughts. It's what you want to achieve that should shape your feelings, your actions, and what you attract. Everything starts in the mind. Recurring thoughts generate feelings, which fuel your actions, and those actions determine your results. If you let your current results feed negative thoughts of fear, lack, and doubt, you are trapped in a deadly cycle. I have seen brilliant, intelligent, and creative people get stuck because of this. You can predict most people's results simply by observing their behavior. It isn't laziness, it's a mental limitation. Even after earning millions, I felt broke. Why? Because I had an internal paradigm that told me money was unstable. I had moments of great success, but if you don't change your dominant thought, the results will return to where they started. You have to think about what you want, not about what you see. We are taught to look outside and draw conclusions, but transformation begins inside. You have to maintain a mental image of success even when everything seems to contradict it. Oprah Winfrey, born into extreme poverty, suffered abuse and discrimination, but she maintained a mental image of freedom and power. She understood that her results were not a final sentence but a reflection of old patterns. She decided that her vision for the future would be more powerful than her present. Do you give more power to what you see or to what you believe? Do you have a clear vision or are you just thinking about surviving? Those who think short-term reap momentary relief. Those who think long-term reap lasting transformation. The brain is shaped by the emotional repetition of images. What you repeat mentally with emotion becomes a belief. Your external life then aligns with it. People who say, "I'm unlucky," seem to attract problems. They don't attract them because they're unlucky, but because they deeply believe they are. The subconscious falls for it completely. So, what are you feeding your mind? When you look at your bank account, do you feel rage or gratitude? Do you see yourself succeeding or are you a spectator? Have you allowed yourself to feel what the life you want would be like? This emotional change is the tipping point. Think of the results you want as if they were already real. Feel them. Act as if you are already living that reality. Your current situation isn't your identity, it's just your situation. And it doesn't define your future unless you insist on believing it does. What matters is what you choose to think from now on. Life changes from the inside out. Think about what you want. Feel it. Act accordingly. One of the most powerful things you can do is to write down the life you want to live. In 1973, I sat down and wrote, "I'm going to build a company that serves the entire world." I had no idea how I would do it, but I had a piece of paper, a pen, and a vision. Most people go through life without ever writing down what they truly want. They talk about success and stability, but in a vague way, without form or emotion. The universe doesn't respond to vague desires, it responds to clarity. Your mind also needs direction. This program begins with words, images, and feelings. When you write with intention, you're not just jotting down an idea. You are building a new identity. You are telling your subconscious, "This is what I want." It completely falls for it and executes the task. If you've been mentally repeating for years that it's difficult to earn money or that you're not good enough, what does your subconscious do? It makes it a reality. For a new life, give new instructions. I was broke, surrounded by people in the same situation, but I did what no one else did. I wrote my vision, my success. People thought I was crazy. Maybe I was, but it was a necessary madness. To break out of your reality, you have to imagine a new one and believe in it more than anything else. Decades later, the company I had visualized on that piece of paper took over the world. It all started with a written sentence, a mental image sustained for years. It wasn't magic, it was consistency, clarity, and repetition. You write shopping lists and notes for your boss, but not the life you want to live. And so you feel lost, without direction, reacting to circumstances instead of creating possibilities. Your mind works with images. Those who don't create their own images live in the ones the world imposes. If you don't deliberately choose what you put into your mind, you are being programmed by others every single day. Take a piece of paper and write, "I am prosperous. My mind attracts opportunities. I choose to grow." Read them aloud while looking at yourself in the mirror. Do it every day. Imagine the result, because the result will come. Repeating a powerful, emotionally charged visualization transforms your deepest being. And when the inside changes, the outside responds. This method is so powerful that it's adopted daily by top-level athletes, prosperous leaders, and world-renowned artists. It is based on visualization, anchoring, and repetition. They understood that the mind shapes reality before it even appears. I saw this with Sandy Gallagher, my partner. She was a brilliant financial lawyer. She worked with the biggest banks on astronomical sums and gigantic projects. Yet, she felt a void. She attended my workshops. Then one day, she told me, "Bob, I want to join your mission." Today, she is a leading partner, running half of our company. It all started with a precise mental image of what she wanted to experience. You can do it too. It doesn't matter how much debt you have, if you're unemployed, or if you're starting from scratch. Your external reality will only change when you rewrite your internal reality. And that starts with words, images, and a goal. Stop repeating the story that imprisons you. Start telling the one that liberates you. You don't need to know how, you only need to know what you want and have a deep belief in its realization. This is the power within you, the power of a pen, a piece of paper, and the audacity to see yourself as bigger than everything you've ever experienced. This new image is your new life. Your mind is the key. Everything begins and ends with the thoughts you let dominate your day. Transforming yourself externally is only possible when you decide, from the bottom of your heart, to change what is inside. This decision is in your hands, and right now you have the chance to take a new step. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, where we will celebrate your progress and watch you become even better.